Joining us, Major Saab, thank you for speaking to Times Now. You would remember, sir, over the last 6 years, Times Now has relentlessly been at exposing PFI and its radical activities.
Absolutely, जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं देर आए दुरुस्त आए. This was a long overdue step, but सरकार ने इसको किया है after due diligence. अगर हम जल्दबाजी में करते तो कोर्ट्स में ये चले जाते और वो वहां पे स्ट्रक डाउन हो जाता, तो एक और नैरेटिव बन जाता कि हम बेवजह कोई एक संस्था को परेशान कर रहे हैं टाइप्स. लेकिन ये संस्था तो रोज खतरनाक से ज्यादा खतरनाक होती जा रही थी. जो कम्युनल हार्मनी को सवा सत्यानाश करने में जुटी हुई थी, हिंसक कार्रवाइयों को, जैसे कि आपने बताया सरतन से जुदा का कैंपेन किसने शुरू किया? इन लोगों ने शुरू किया. और हिंसा, और उसके बाद सबसे खतरनाक चीज है कि इनकी आउटरीच अब हो चुकी थी इस्लामिक जो है कट्टरपंथी संस्थाओं के साथ देश के बाहर, जिसमें कि टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लाइक इस्लामिक स्टेट ऑफ खोरासान, तालिबान इत्यादि, इन सब से इनका संपर्क और कांटेक्ट हो चुके थे. और याद रहे कि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो सिमी है, जो सिमी जिसने कि इंडियन मुजाहिदीन खड़ा किया और जिसने कि भारत में एक दशक बॉम्बिंग का कैंपेन चलाया था, अलग शहरों में बम फटते थे, आए दिन लोग मारे जाते थे, वही सिमी मॉर्फ हो गई है. देखिए, ये टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की आदत है कि ये नाम बदल लेती हैं, चेहरा बदल लेती हैं, लेकिन काम वही दहशतगर्दी का चालू रखती हैं. और फिर एक मास्क के पीछे ऑपरेट करती हैं कि ये तो एक सिविल संस्था है, ये तो एक पीसफुल संस्था है, कल्चरल संस्था है. लेकिन उसकी आड़ में जब आप आतंकवाद फैलाना शुरू करें, दैट कोई सभ्य मुल्क उसे एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. और समय लगा, लेकिन सरकार ने बड़े सुनियोजित तरीके से इनके खिलाफ एविडेंस इकट्ठा किया. ऑपरेशन ऑक्टोपस के चलते इनके खिलाफ सबूत हासिल किए गए, ठोस सबूत which can stand up in a court of law.
General Saab, in the name of standing up for the rights of the Muslims, PFI has been indulging in radical activities.
Not just radical activities amounting to pure terrorism. You see, cutting off the hands of a professor who says something which they take umbrage to, you cut his hands off. Then वो hands से then you progress to sartan se juda. It started a campaign of beheading when that Nupur Sharma controversy had arisen. They were slitting the throats of people. And then there have been, like I said, the SIMI was the main terrorist organization which then spawned the Indian Mujahideen. For 1 decade, the Indian Mujahideen had carried out a bombing campaign in various parts of the country. In various cities, bombs used to regularly go off, killing hundreds of people. And then when the government cracked down and finally managed to destroy the SIMI and the Indian Mujahideen, they simply morphed themselves as these organizations tend to do. When you put the Lashkar-e-Toiba under pressure, it simply changes its name, it morphs its forms, it changes its bank accounts, and it becomes, Jamaatul Dawa or things like that. There are so many reincarnations of the same organization. But the pursuit is the same, to wage a war of terror, to try and dismantle the Indian Republic, to carry out what is called Ghazwa-e-Hind, the reconquest of India.
Absolutely. You've said it, General Saab. General Saab, you were making a very good point. Here is an organization who does not have any regard, and I don't want to mince my words today, any regard for the Constitution of India, and the Gazette notification by the center says so.
Absolutely. You see, there was an outcry to take action against this organization years back. But very rightly, I think, and there was even innuendos, suggestions that this is the B team, etc., etc. But the fact is that the government went about in a very thorough and foolproof manner. They did due diligence. They collected evidence. They had the NIA and the agencies act in tandem. State police, the intelligence bureau, the other organizations, organs, arms of the government. They thoroughly, meticulously gathered the evidence which would stand scrutiny in a court of law. Otherwise, you just ban for the heck of it and they go to the courts and the courts turn it down. That only gives strength to the organization, weakens the narrative of the government. So, to that extent, they have not just acted in haste, they have acted with due deliberation. As I keep saying, I underline that fact. They acted with due deliberation, and now, jisko kehte hain, der aaye, durust aaye, we've hit the nail on the head. We've banned this organization, which was getting in touch with the Islamic State Khorasan. It was getting in touch with the Taliban and the whole zoo of terrorist organizations in Pakistan. That slew of terrorist organizations. This would have been a front end. This was just Simi in a new incarnation, and a far more dangerous incarnation. But it was trying to work under a veneer, a cloak of respectability that it is just a cultural organization. Cultural my foot. They were out to slit throats. They were out to behead people. They were out to slash wrists and arms and cut off hands. They were out to get involved in mainstream elements of terror. They have just been nipped. The bud has been nipped just in time. And that is the way to go. You must be proactive and stop these organizations before they get active, really. You can't wait for that to happen anymore and then act. You have to preempt. You have to anticipate and stop them in their tracks well before they begin in true earnest. So all the signs were there, all the jo lakshan sare ke sare, they were all there that which way this organization is headed, and they were trying to collaborate with the enemies of India to dismember the country, to create common...
And General Saab, I remember you making the comments on our channel a few days ago, and you said that while a ban is the need of the hour, we must also weed out the sympathizers of the PFI from the ecosystem.
Absolutely. You see, what these organizations work with is a hardcore cadre. But even as dangerous is the overground workers who operate under a cloak of respectability. They do not directly get involved, but they do the funding, they do the logistics, they do the communication of the organization. They get to try and mobilize grassroots support, without which such nefarious activities cannot proceed ahead. They try and look for populist causes like hijab, like this thing, and then take orders from Ayman al-Zawahiri as to what to do, and incite the poor girls, sort of work behind the cloak of women, so that they can get away with such acts. But their true colors, the leopard was showing its spots now. It was openly showing its spots in terms of the degree of hostility it was showing to the Indian state towards the Indian constitution. And if they think they can sort of impose a Sharia on India, they had a long-term plan called 2047, where they had worked on how they would destroy and dismember and take over India. Take it over. They had that full blueprint. Now, when you have such activities on paper, they have made these plans. So it is not just a fiction of somebody's imagination. They were up to no good. They were out to dismember the country. They were out to tear our communal harmony to pieces. They were out to attack the state and the people and kill innocents, And this is how these organizations start, as social activists, etc. Then they get on to Sar Tan Se Juda campaign, and then they get on to mainstream terrorism with Kalashnikovs, bombs, pistols, grenades. And the aim was to spread it all over India. Fortunately, As of now, it has just been confined to the valley, and they are trying to revive it in the Punjab. But this was an organization that had tentacles all over India, and especially in South India.
Absolutely, no doubts about that. And General Saab, Times Now has been over the last 6 years exposing every bit of this Islamist radical organization and its wrongdoings. Now, General Saab, I know it's early morning, we'll let you go, but only with the promise that you will join us shortly live, either on Zoom, Skype or WhatsApp. General Saab.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.